I want to prosper. I want to prosper. I want to prosper. I want to prosper. Hey, Sunish, what is happening? The VP of e-commerce and revenue management himself. How's everything in your life and business treating you, buddy?
Hey Dennis, nice to see you, man. Uh, well, the life is treating me very well, actually. Even though it's very busy days for the hotels, especially that it's the almost the last quarter. The year is gonna be ending soon, and we are preparing for the budgets for next year. Yeah.
Man, that sounds like a ton of work. So glad to see you smiling and energetic about all these exciting things. So thanks again for joining us here with the Prosperna e-commerce stories Philippines edition. Maybe we can jump right in, and if you don't mind, just tell everybody about yourself, like, where you're from, how you got into this business, maybe even tell us what you're passionate about. That would be awesome.
Sure, absolutely. Well, I've been a hotelier for 23 years, right? Um, I started my work 23 years back in a hotel somewhere in Dubai, then on went to different parts of the world, including Maldives, Bahrain, Vietnam, Thailand, with different hotel groups. And since 2012, I'm working with Chroma Hospitality, which is one of the biggest hotel management companies in the Philippines. And we are the hospitality arm of the Philinvest Group. And well, in terms of my own, I'm living here for 12 years. I'm married. I have three kids. I have a good family to support, right? And then in terms of work, I look after the online distribution and the revenue management at Chroma Hospitality for all our hotels. We manage the Crimson and the Quest hotel brands in the Philippines, and my goal or my passion is about digitalization of the hotels or hospitality. They always say that hospitality is the last one to get digitalized, and that is something which every day I want to change in my role.
That's awesome, man. Well, wow, you have a lot going on there. And let's maybe take it back a little bit. You mentioned, and it sounds like, you're a world traveler, or, is that how you got started? Have you always been in the travel industry? And tell us more about those early days when you got into this space.
Well, the early days, obviously, I had no choice because I ended up in a hotel management school. Um,
Ah,
Well, the only choice at that time for me after finishing it was to go into hotels. But you know what? I love it. I really love it because yeah, as a hospitality management, I think in the beginning, especially the few years when you start, you do work 16 hours, 24 hours, 36 hours at times, but it's a job which you obviously love because you meet so many people, whether you're working at the front desk, or whether you're working at one of the restaurants. You get to interact with so many nationality of guests. You get to work with different people, and you get to see and interact with all these people. And then obviously that kept me in, right? And then as I stepped over the years, I came into more of a corporate position. That is when
mm,
almost 12 years back. That's when I started saying that I need to start evolving my role from selling hotels into a more of a um, digitally run business, right? So that's one reason why I started learning more about what we need to do to make hospitality more and more digitalized, right? Because
Mhm.
one of my roles was also about revenue management. And in revenue management, the main thing which we do on a daily basis is we manage the rates based on demand coming into the hotels. So when we started doing revenue management, we started saying, what are the systems which are available? Can we use these systems? And then came the next hurdle. The hurdle was what, hurdle was that we were selling most of our inventory offline, whether through travel agencies, direct to the hotel, or through corporate companies, etc., right?
Yep.
So we were not able to, if at any point, for example, there's something happens to a certain big travel agent which you work with, and you're not able to get business at that time, you have no other choice than to go to that travel agent and say, "Oh, please give me business. I'll give you something." Right. So that's when we started looking at how we could expand our business further into other segments. And then we started looking into Expedia's, Agoda's, Booking.com, etc., right? And and obviously, when these platforms came in, we got a platform where you can go in and digitally sell your hotel rooms. So it gave us a good problem and a bad problem. Good in the sense, not a good problem, but good thing was that we we got a channel where we could sell our distressed rooms.
Okay.
Many of our hotel rooms, for example, for tonight, if there are 60 rooms in the hotel and 30 of those rooms are not occupied tonight, it's gone. It's
Yeah.
it's perishable because it's perishable. If it's tonight, it's gone, it's gone. But if I'm able to sell 10 of those distressed rooms last minute using one of these channels, obviously it gives me that additional 10 rooms, which would have anyways got wasted, right? Then the next challenge came up is that, which is the bad problem, is that when you sell on third party channels, you end up paying out commissions. And co- commissions 12 years back were much bigger than what it is today. We were paying commissions between 20 to 25% per sale.
Wow.
So that is when we said, what is the next step we need to do to make sure that we are becoming more profitable and more of a digitally savvy company, right? So that's when we started saying, we need to have websites which are managed well. We need to have a website which has a booking engine where people can go in and book their rooms, book food and beverage, or anything else. We need to have, and from there, it continued, right? So basically, we went to a stage where we said, now we have a website, now we have all of this. How do we make sure that people don't go to all these well-known travel agencies or OTAs like Expedia, Agoda, and pay commissions? Rather, they go to my website and make that booking.
Yep.
So yeah, so basically we started going into more of digital marketing. We started going more into things like meta search engines. We started working together with Google to make sure that our ads are appearing on top whenever people are searching for hotels in Mactan, hotels in
Mm.
Boracay, because we have properties in Boracay and Mactan. And when people are looking for it from Switzerland, obviously they will not know. Someone who's sitting in Singapore, Switzerland will not know what is a Crimson Hotel and Resorts, right?
Yeah.
At least 12 years back or 10 years back, they will not know that. Even though today we are more well known. But so that's where these advertisements came in. And using these advertisements, using the digital platforms, we were able to make sure that we were able to get the maximum exposure for our hotels as a brand, as well as to make sure that those distressed inventory or the rooms are not left empty in the hotels.
That's amazing. So what an intro, Lo. So there's so many nuggets in there. Let's try to peel the onion back a little bit. So Wow, that was an awesome role. So basically, just to go back to the beginning, you really started your journey on property, right?
Absolutely.
Working directly, you know, at hotels, working with guests, selling and marketing the rooms in the traditional way, whenever, right when you got out of, I guess, university, right? From,
Absolutely.
travel and hospitality management. And
Yeah,
so basically then, what you described is really at a high level, major milestones in the evolution of your industry from traditional to where it is today, which is multi-channel, right?
absolutely.
Yeah, those are some great insights. Now let's double click on a couple of those. So when you were in the industry and you started seeing that shift some years ago from traditional to digital, what were some of the I want to hear some of the conversations that and some of the questions, right, that leaders and owners and operators had. Can you go that far back and because that's really where it all starts is people scratching their head going, what's happening? And then I'm curious, at that stage or some of the companies that you were with or even some companies today, what is it that drives them to, or in your experience that you saw, what drove you guys to go, no, we need to embrace digital?
Yeah, absolutely. Like I think that is one of the things is that if you even today, right? Not even 12 years back, right? Um, Everybody when they look at hospitality, we always work on a very thin line on profit and loss. The P&L, right, which it drives us, right? So well-run hotel will always have a month-end P&L meeting. And in the P&L meeting, it's always about that even that 1% profitability, which can make a big difference, right?
Mm,
So when at many times, especially in see, you have to look at it like this, right? It does not mean that it it has become more profitable or less profitable, but the biggest difference I think for the audience also to know is that when you sell to wholesalers, travel agencies,
okay.
what happens is that you take, let's say you want to sell $100 rate, you take out that $30 out of that or $35 out of that, and you give that $65 rate to that travel agent
Mm-hmm.
so that he can put up markup and he can sell it through different sources.
Gotcha.
So, um, so at the end of the day, the hotel gets $65 out of this. There is no loss. That $65 is mostly profit. But
So, but now you guys have to operate within that $65 for that
no,
period of time.
no, now you have to operate between $90 to $100. 90 when you're giving a discount, 100 when you're not giving a discount.
I
So
see.
most of the time you will give $100 rate, or you will sell that $100 rate direct on a different on a OTA or on your own brand website.
Yeah.
So when you do that, basically what's going to happen is that even if you pay 25% commission, you get $75.
Yeah.
But what happens is that you get $100 straight into your hotel, and you take after at the end of the month you take $25 and give it to the OTA as a commission.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of getting $65 per room, the hotel got $100 per room, but instead of getting a 90% profitability or something or higher,
Yeah.
they got 75% profitability on that booking.
So when
So
when you look at the math and the numbers,
yes,
that's basically an important part. And we haven't even talked about the real digital aspect. basically what you're saying
Absolutely.
is, whether you're a small, medium, or large business, you have to look at the math and figure out what can you get for that market price.
Yes, absolutely. And at the end of the day, we all have to realize that when when the owners look at anything, right? Um, Business executives, when they look at anything, they'll always look at, oh, what's happening with my profitability, right? And that's when they start coming in and saying, oh, what can we do to get more of these people to book direct with us? And that's where digital comes into hospitality. So
I love it.
e-commerce, yeah, e-commerce comes into hospitality and says, oh, instead of paying $25 or $20 or even $15 to somebody, you spend $8 or $10 to make sure that your website runs the fastest. Anywhere from anywhere your guest is looking at your hotel, they're able to open your website in 1.8 seconds, for example.
Yeah.
Yes, you have the best booking engine possible from where guests can, in two steps, maximum 2 steps, make a booking. When someone is sitting in Singapore and searching for a hotel, or let me give this example. You are in the US, in your Silicon Valley, in your old days, and you are looking for a trip to the Philippines, and you go and say, okay, let me book my flight first. Almost everybody books their flights first. So the moment you booked your flight, in 10 minutes from then or 1 hour from that time, I start ads start showing up to you
Yeah.
on Gmail saying that book Crimson Hotel Phil in West City, Manila for best rates and for the most convenient location. And then you say, oh, yeah, I just booked my flight to Manila. There you go. I click on that, or you click on that, you go to their website, and then you look at the things, you find everything to be okay. Maybe you will,
Yeah.
9% of the times, you may go and book it. Another 10% of the times, you may not book it, but still, right? And if you don't book it for next 2 days, I may keep sending you the ads again and again in different places. You never know. At some
Yeah.
stage, you may end up booking it, right? And it's the same thing in every other journey, right? Like in the digital journey, we really think about, over the years, we have put together the digital journey of each one of our customers, right? What are the different phases where people book our hotels? That's number one. What are the areas from where they are looking at it? Are they looking at it from a mobile, or are they looking at it from their desktop, right? So based on that, our advertisements change, the way we converse with them on digital channels change, right?
Yeah.
For example, if you're on one of our websites and then um, suddenly something comes up, something comes up, and you are almost done with 80% of that booking. The only thing you did not do is put your credit card details. But there you go. Your wife calls you up from the back and says, we need to go. And you have to close it. But when you're closing it, suddenly a pop-up comes out and says to you, hey, Dennis, we know that it takes a lot of time to put in all these details. Shall we save these details for you?
Yeah.
You just have to click a yes, and it will automatically close everything. But the same time, in your main email which was used, you will get a notification with a click through link, which will say that whenever you want over the next 7 days, you can click on this link, and it will start from the same place where you left the booking, right? So this is just one example of how we use digital, right? I can sit here and talk about like hundreds of such examples, but obviously it's gonna do our
No,
conversation
I
to be a
love it.
long one, right? Sure.
We're
Okay.
about to,
All right.
this is turning into a master class, my man. This is great.
Sure.
So,
Absolutely.
so basically, the big takeaway from what you mentioned is going digital. A lot of it started with just the business insights, right? The classic things that every business owner or every leadership team thinks about, and just that general inquisitiveness to go, how do we do more, right? How do we serve our customers more? Where are our customers? How do we get to them profitably, right? And what's the best channel and what's the best experience, right? To get them to check out as fast as possible, no matter where they are. So that's really cool that you've been able to emphasize, though, what businesses think about in the, travel and hospitality business. Let's talk a little bit about some of the exciting brands that you have under your umbrella. What just generally speaking, again, because it's the holidays, and what's new on the Chroma Hospitality front?
Uh, maybe to start with, I can give a little bit about the brands, right? So the brand which we are most proud about, obviously the homegrown brand, is the Crimson Hotels and Resorts, under which we have 3 properties at the moment. The first one, which was opened almost 12 years back, was the Crimson Resort and Spa Mactan Cebu. Which is currently going under renovations, and we have just recently reopened them. It's on a very nice beachfront, one of the best properties, well managed best properties in Mactan. So if you are looking at a holiday destination for the Christmas New Year holidays, it's the perfect place to be. It even has a very nice beach club called the Azure Beach Club. That's another one of our brands as well. Plus, obviously, we also have NA, which is one of the restaurants which is run by Chef Chele Gonzalez, right? Um, yeah, and then other than that, we run a very nice, actually one of the best resorts in Boracay, which is Crimson Resort and Spa Boracay. Again, has its own private beach, um, uh, private villas, close to 192 rooms and villas. Then we have the Crimson Hotel in Fair Alabang. Then we have the Quest brand, under which we have Quest in Clark. We have a Quest in Tagaytay. We have a Quest in Cebu City, which is one of the big properties, 427 rooms. It's one of those successful properties right across the Ayala malls. And then we also have a standalone property called the Timberland Highlands Resort.
Man, you guys are busy.
Yeah, other than that, I think pandemic changed a lot of things. During the pandemic, one of the things which really changed is our focus on food and beverage.
Okay. Tell us about
So,
that.
so if you talk about food and beverage, I think one of the things which happened is in 2021, we started investing more into F&B brands. So that's where we started looking at Baker J. Baker J is a French, French pastry shop slash restaurant. Plus, we also opened up another pizza place, which is called the Firehouse, which I know it's one of your favorite pizza restaurants. I remember even during the pandemic, one of your birthdays was celebrated there with your whole team. I remember that.
That's right.
And then we opened up a bar as well, which is a speakeasy bar called Alibi. And the good thing is that even though pandemic is behind us, we were able to escalate these brands, right? So now we recently opened the 7th branch or the 7th store of Baker J.
Oh, cool.
Which was just recently opened in BGC, right? We have one in Tagaytay now. We have one in Rizal. We have one in Clark at the Mimosa Golf Course. Yeah, and one of the things which we are really doing now, with all of these things happening with the food and beverage, is that we are trying to see how we can use our digital expertise into bringing these brands to everybody in the country, right? And so
Mm.
that's why we are opening up e-commerce stores for these brands, right? Firehouse was the first one which we started with last year. We have a website for that, which is firehouse pizzas.com, and which firehousealabang.com is already operational, where people can go in, they can select their pizzas, they can select the different toppings for their pizzas, they can select their drinks, anything and all that, and sitting at your home you can do all this. And you can also make sure that you all do your payments either by Gcash or your credit card payments using Maya, or uh, you can have it, the payment or delivery, as long as Lalamove is accepting it. And all this is together with making sure that the delivery partner is also integrated within the same platform, right? So that's one area where we work with Prosperna, obviously, and we have been able to really use that platform. And now with the success of Firehouse, we are also putting Baker J into the same similar platform, and we are coming up with bakerj.com, which will be live in next 2 to 3 weeks, with 5 stores already on that.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. So
Yeah.
it seems like so you guys really do a lot to invest in the branding, because a lot of people absolutely know about, the Crimson Mactan and Crimson Baraka. Those have become, icons for, the place to be. So branding, I know, is really, really important to you guys, but also, what is it that led you guys to double down on the F&B side? What is it that you guys were seeing that said, hey, these things go hand in hand?
Absolutely. I think as a hospitality management company, I think Chroma, one thing which we realized over the pandemic um, is that when you have good products, where in rooms, right? You have good rooms, you have a good hotel. You also need to have products behind it which can be enjoyed by the guest, right? We want our guests to come to the hotels and every day be able to experience different things there, right? Like, for example, even if you're staying at a Crimson Hotel in Philinvest City, Manila, which is not even a resort property, and and there you can either go to a cafe 8, for example, and you can have the different kinds of Filipino foods, or
Mhm.
you can have a nice buffet for breakfast, lunch, or dinner. But when you think that, oh no, I want to have maybe some French food, that's where you can go and eat Baker J, right? And then you say, no, my kids are with me. Can I also have maybe some nice pizzas? So that's where Firehouse cuts in. And then in the evening you say, oh, I'll leave the kids in my room. I want to go down and party. We even thought about that for you already, right? We said that, okay, for the party, we have alibi. Yeah,
Yep.
leave leave your worries behind. Come in, party with us.
Man,
So stranger.
what is so interesting is somehow you guys have basically mapped out my life. Right? From, business travel, which Quest, I think, does a great job at, because I always know what I'm going to get at Quest. Because you're so busy on a business trip, you don't want to guess and then, get surprised by a bad experience and that ruin your business trip, right? All the
Absolutely.
way to thinking about, okay, now where do I enjoy my life after business? Then you got the Crimson hotel properties, but you basically also mapped out what to do with the kids, right? what to experience that you probably, didn't know you could get access to here in the Philippines, like Victor J. And then, of course, my favorite, the cocktail happy hour kind of festive part of Alibi, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And plus, if you're staying at one of the resort properties where we understand, and if you come to Mactan or Boracay and you're in one of the Crimsons, we also know that you'll be coming with your kids, and we make sure that you have a very nice and one of the biggest playgrounds, including digital area for the kids, right? So that's something we take care of. In Boracay, we even made a whole pirate ship just for the kids to enjoy, right? So plus every 1 hour we have activities going on, and this is something I think we have been able to do, and that's why I said, right. When we thought about all of those things, and when all these things came together, then we said, okay, now we have got a complete package with us. So now what do we do next, right? So that's where digital came in. And that's where digital came in and said, oh, I can help you to reach out to people, right? So just an example, on one sudden day, I just went to the Google profile of one of our bars. I created a website out of it, a free website out of it.
Yeah.
And I put up ads for anybody who's in that area, especially on a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. You'll automatically start seeing ads like the best gin bar in Alabama, for example.
Yeah.
And it is the best gin bar in Alabama, right?
Hands down. That's my favorite.
Yes, absolutely. And one of the things is that until the digital factor doesn't come in, I do not think the e-commerce factor, the digital factor, until that does not come in, it really does not make the cake into 100%. It's half baked otherwise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool, man. Well, the big takeaway from this is coming back and focusing on the customer. That's basically what you guys have done. And you've been able to map it out with the physical experience, and you've added brands, and you're digitizing the experience. So whether you're on site and offline and online, or if you're on Agoda or any other channel, you guys are there, and it's consistent throughout. Real quick, speaking of Agoda and the likes, I gotta get your opinion on the sites like Airbnb and what is it, Vacation VBRO, Vacation Beach Rentals and stuff like that. What do you think about those kinds of sites? Because I'm on all the Facebook chat groups for all that, and a lot of people, these travel hospitality, entrepreneurs, they seem really confused with, how to run their business. But I'm just curious what you think from y'all's perspective about those kind of sites.
Sure. I think VRBO, whether it's Airbnb, I think when it started, it was a great idea for sure, yes, because there's obviously you were creating. See, at the end of the day, you know a lot of people. I personally know a lot of people who in the Philippines or in Vietnam or Singapore, we have a lot of empty spaces, right? And that when Airbnb started, that was one time when people were finding it difficult to find renters, right? People who will rent a property at a good price. So that's where people like Airbnb and VRBO came in, right? Obviously, the major problem there is it is good when it is done on a smaller scale. But when you do it on a big scale, like where Airbnb has reached over the years, right? When you have millions of property owners on your site, one of the big differences between a hotel and an Airbnb is that Airbnb is not regulated. I would be very, very careful staying in an Airbnb, whether I'm getting recorded in there, or
Oh, yeah.
or or is it safe enough? There are so many people you must have heard about. Must have seen stories where people never even found that Airbnb in many places, right?
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
or obviously many of them operating in buildings which are not supposed to be sold for Airbnb, and many times it's a guest who get that. So that's where I think in hospitality, personally, and I travel a lot for my own family trips or anywhere. One thing I would never do is I'll never book something like Airbnb, mainly because of the reason that I know if I go to a hotel, whether it's a 3-star, 4-star, 5-star, I am going to get a service from them. If something happens, I can complain to them and I can make sure that I'm still going to be safe.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
with these platforms, I'm not so sure, right? But again, I think it's again very subjective, because there are still a lot of people who still prefer to use Airbnbs because it comes out more cheaper for them, and
Mm.
especially, yeah. But again,
Well, fair enough. Fair enough. I mean, you do bring up some good points. I've had my fair share of, bad experiences, and also some good ones. But whenever it becomes a bad experience, it can get pretty creepy.
absolutely.
And yeah, you gotta, think a little bit harder. But it is an interesting business model, and certainly something to pay attention to um and figure out. That said, let's shift gears. Like what's your vision or the vision of Chroma Hospitality, or both? What's in store for you guys in the future?
Well, I think one of the main things which we always know, or we always aim for, is how we can make sure that our digital image is always well represented, right? So that's where one of the things which is my own personal goal, as well as the company's goal, is to make sure that if today our websites can be opened in 2 seconds or 2.5 seconds, we want to make sure in future people can open it in 1 second or 1.2 seconds. So that's obviously one e-commerce goal for personal for me. Number two is we want to make sure that we can make the booking process as easy as possible. Because when a customer, whether he's booking a room, whether he's booking an experience or a food and beverage, right? It does not matter. It has to be as easy as possible. Um, I can see so many examples, right? Where I'll just give an example. I know there was um, one website. Um, it's a liquor delivery website, right? And
Mm,
one of the things which happened with that website is, a few years back, there's a certain time that I was trying to order something. I was
yeah.
ordering something to be delivered to my house, and I saw they have a Maya, they have a payment gateway there and all that. So I used my card, I paid for it, and I was like, wow, now it will be delivered to my house. I'm happy. 1 hour from that time, I get an email from this company which says, since you paid using a card, please send your your uh, valid ID to this email address to make sure that we can we can be sure that you are the right person who purchased this, and this is your credit card,
Uh-oh.
including a copy of your credit card.
Uh-oh.
So I think this is a major problem in e-commerce. when you do something in e-commerce, you're doing e-commerce to make people's life easier. E-commerce is not to make people's life tough, right? So when people are on your website, they should be able to do everything seamlessly. That's where the CX comes in, right?
Yeah.
You're, you need to make sure you make the whole journey together. So that's something which we work on, right? So one of our new brands is coming up in future, which will be the Graphic Hotels and Resorts, which will be our lifestyle brand. With
Exciting.
with one of them will be uh, right in Camp John Hay in
Oh,
Baguio.
cool.
Yes, it will be a very nice property, right? Coming right on top of the golf course.
Oh
So
man.
yeah, it will be surrounded by the pine trees. And the other one coming up in Mactan, Cebu, a beachfront property, another amazing place to come in. But with this brand, one of the things we want to do is how we can create apps which can become, multi-channel. So if you're using multiple channels to communicate, we will communicate with you. So those are multi-channel apps, making sure that the e-commerce journey of our guest is becoming as seamless as possible. You know what I did with that order? I asked them to just cancel it because because seriously, I told them I'm not going to be sharing my credit card copy with you, and I'm not sharing my ID with you.
Yeah. Oh
So
my
be
God,
it,
that's
right?
crazy.
Yeah.
Wow. Especially, I think they somehow got a different customer with a lot of experience and wow. Well, hopefully things have changed for them. But and it sounds like you guys have a ton of exciting stuff. I really look forward to the Graphic Hotel, especially in one of the most favorite places here in the Philippines, in up in the mountains of Baguio. So that's going to be great. When is that opening up?
Baguio is end of 2025.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Well,
And Mactan, we are opening in uh, beginning of 2027.
you got to think ahead, right?
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
that's the
absolutely.
only way. That's the only way.
Yeah,
Well,
but we
listen,
have,
man,
yeah, sure.
it's been great catching up with you. And wow, what amazing insights from all the experience that you've had in the travel, hospitality, F&B business. I don't want to steal all your thunder, even though you gave out so many good nuggets. I think we're going to have to schedule another masterclass with Sunish. But great seeing you, everybody. This is Sunish Sadavisan, VP of E-commerce and Revenue Management at Chroma Hospitality. Sunish, great seeing you. Thanks again. Have a great week and all the best wishes and lots of success to you and the rest of the team.
See you soon. Thank you.
Take care, buddy.
See you.
Hey, Prosper Nation. Thanks for joining us on another episode of Prosperna e-commerce stories, where we learn and share success stories of e-commerce businesses and leaders. Please comment, like, share, and subscribe. My name is Dennis Velasco, founder and CEO of Prosperna. See ya.